Hello internet friends, welcome to my series of Star Wars Galaxies stories submitted by the community here who follow Star Wars Galaxies, follow me on this channel. Thank you for the massive response last week. I was overwhelmed by the number of people sharing their experiences, opening up about how the game has impacted them. So I wanted to start the process. This is the first video where I share some of those. Before I begin, if you want to submit your Star Wars Galaxies story, do so in the comments. It's as easy as that, just post it down there. But be aware, if you do post it, I might read it out. That's kind of the point of this whole series. So without further ado, let's get on. The first person I have chosen to read is Ashwinn Mayberg, or Mayber, who submitted a very detailed, in-depth account of how they came across Star Wars Galaxies. So Ashwinn writes, I didn't have the opportunity to play Star Wars Galaxies live as I was too young and didn't have my PC at that time. And my parents didn't have a PC, which would allow me to play such games. In fact, for a while, I didn't even know that such a game existed. Then, when I was about 7 or 8, I first started browsing the internet and YouTube. That's a scary time, isn't it, when you're 8 and you never know what you're going to come across. Could have been later, it's a bit hazy. I watched numerous videos, the typical kids stuff, dinosaurs, supposed Sasquatch sightings, and lots of Let's Plays, me too. Mainly I'd watch Spore or The Sims 2 and 3, but then I saw a video about Star Wars Galaxies and thought it looked amazing. At that time I'd never played an MMO before, so the idea of being able to communicate with others and play with total strangers was both terrifying and amazing. I immediately wanted to play the game, but still had no clue how. Didn't have my own PC, and eventually Star Wars Galaxies faded from memory. So it remained. My sister and I would watch videos about games we couldn't play, dreaming of them, and Star Wars Galaxies was one of them. I remember doing that as well. You know, the game we were going to play, me and my brother. We were so excited about like games we'd seen in magazines, and several years passed, and on my 17th or 18th birthday I got my very first PC, which is actually the same PC I am writing on now. I was thrilled. For several years before getting my PC I had been fantasizing about the glories of PC gaming. For a while I stuck with simple games, as I had basically no idea how a laptop worked or how the internet worked in general. Eventually my sister downloaded a small MMO. I believe it was called Dawn of Eternity. This game opened my eyes to MMOs. Though it was dead slow, not very much filled with content, it was essentially a 3D chat room, I realised that I could actually play the MMOs I've always wanted to try. However, I had learned several years before that Star Wars Galaxies had been shut down, which to my mind meant that I had lost my opportunity to play the game. The first real MMO I played was SWTOR. I downloaded it, and although I found the story engaging and the graphics appealing, it didn't really fulfill what I wanted from an online game, as nobody really spoke to anybody and the community was generally pretty unfriendly. I had by then watched several videos about the glory days of MMOs, specifically Star Wars Galaxies, and all the cool and fun interactions and mechanics of the game. I continued to play SWTOR, enjoying it thoroughly, and also tried WoW, but left as I could not pay the sub, and several others, but always wished I could play Galaxies. Then one day I was watching yet another Death of Star Wars Galaxies sort of video, when at the end I heard of the emulation projects. I was overjoyed. Finally! I may be able to play this great game, so I started studying how to install and play these emulators and signed up to both Star Wars Galaxies EMU and Star Wars Galaxies Legends. I had heard much about the old school mechanics of pre-NG, pre-CU Star Wars Galaxies and loved the sound of them, but the Star Wars Galaxies EMU didn't accept my application for a while, and Star Wars Galaxies Legends did. I bought a copy of the disc, cost a ton since I live in South Africa and the disc come from America, and I installed the game. I remember how excited I was when I clicked play and the game launched and I heard the classic Star Wars music. My first character was Herodotus Star Rider, an Imperial Stormtrooper, since I've always thought they looked epic. Ever since then I've been absolutely adoring the game, its community, and the fact that Star Wars Galaxies Legends is not just an emulation of the past but also creating new content. It's a big thing for me as well. Star Wars Galaxies has proven to be everything I ever hoped it would be and has become one of my favourite MMORPGs and even games in general. For anyone wishing to meet me in Star Wars Galaxies, I mainly play as Herodotus Star Rider. So thank you for submitting that, Ashwinn. I really enjoyed reading it, and it's one of those things that I've discovered through doing YouTube videos, is that people come to this game from many different places. When I left Star Wars Galaxies and started exploring the EMU, there was very much a sense of these are all ex-Star Wars Galaxies players who lament the earliest stage of the game and are harking back to something. But through doing these YouTube videos online, I've found that there are many people coming to the game for the first time, and that's what actually surprised me, and I think it surprised a lot of people. I still get comments from these people who assume everyone is an ex-Star Wars Galaxies player who misses playing in the game, but someone like you who's coming to it for the first time, that's particularly cool to hear. The idea that you hear about Star Wars Galaxies in your childhood is something that fascinates me as well, because I was in my early 20s when I was playing the game, already kind of well familiar with the types of games I liked and excited by this new innovation. But I think if I'd come across it at your age, you know, when it was that nostalgia for my early childhood, I think it would have an even greater, you know, a hold on me. And that's why I think I see the passion in the Legends team, because they were presumably more like you, younger when they were playing it initially, early teens maybe, and they have an even greater fondness for it than someone like me, perhaps, even though I love the game very, very much. They are truly passionate, and I get that sense from your comment. Thank you for going into such detail. I appreciate it. So with that in mind, the next person I'm going to pick out is Travus. His experience is similar, that idea of playing it when you were younger. My Star Wars Galaxies is different from most, since I'm 20 years old. The first I've seen of Star Wars Galaxies was browsing the internet when I was 14 at the time, so around 2014, and I was actually browsing about stuff about the actual Star Wars Galaxy, and I guess one of the results on Google was the Wikipedia page about the game. Sadly, at the time, the game was closed down officially, and I was saving for a gaming PC at the time, so I followed the Star Wars Galaxies emu for about 2 years, watching Mobius 1. Great, cool videos. I watched a lot of Mobius's videos. So in the winter of 2016, I started playing the game, first on Star Wars Galaxies emu, and met a few friends who I talk to now. Next change was playing Empire in Flames server. That was the peak for Star Wars Galaxies for me. I became a full-on high-rank Imperial, a part of a huge group, and even MVP in one of the battles where I got a sweet Imperial coat. I'm very introverted in life, Travus says, and even in games sometimes. Plus, with my bipolar, I do have these ups and downs where I stop being social at all, and even online, so I've lost some online friends through this. But every now and then I get back into Star Wars Galaxies and meet those old friends. I think that's true of a lot of people. You know, mental health and stuff like that is something that's not so taboo to talk about now, and the ups and downs in life, particularly for your bipolar, that can be a crippling thing. One minute you are, it's not just being depressed. People think the natural ups and downs, but if you're bipolar, it can be crippling at times. You know, you are buzzing with energy, and then it can be suicidal thoughts on the other end of it. So it's not an easy thing to deal with. So you're not alone in that struggle, Travus. I know a lot of people are there with you. But yeah, again, discovering it when you're 14 and being intrigued by this thing that you never got a chance to play and wanting to go in and explore that, I don't think I should be finding it that unusual at all, really, because I do that. I'm currently going to some retro games that I missed when I was a kid and getting a lot out of those. You know, I just remember them vaguely and think, you know, I missed the opportunity, and now I'm a grown-up. You know, I've got a little bit of disposable income. I can do that. So it's great to hear that. And great to hear people who are playing on different servers as well. My focus is Legends, but happy to hear from other people. Whatever Star Wars Galaxy server you're on, I don't play sides. So great. Thank you for submitting that, Travus. Definitely a theme going on in this particular episode. The next person is Wombo. My Star Wars story started at the age of 7. My father played Star Wars Galaxies from launch, and I remember wanting to play so bad, so he finally let me play. And I still remember my name was Spock before the NGE. I didn't do much but die from Noonas. Yeah, didn't we all? When the game went to the NGE, my dad still played, and finally got my own PC for Christmas and made my new character on my account, which was amazing to me at the time, and I became Caesar the Bounty Hunter. Usually kids loved the Jedi, and so did I, but being a bounty hunter was the dream for me. That's cool. We played on multiple servers: Briar, Cowrie, Starsider Valsin, and even Euro Chimera. And my main focus was always PvP. Fighting other players was awesome to me. I could do it for hours. After chores, of course. My father had multiple guilds on those servers, from USA, United Sith Army, to CIA, Central Imperial Army. We were a pretty big guild in the early days. We were always Imperial faction. It was a big thing for us, and the guild, we were trained to hate rebels, even though I have a rebel on Legends. Still feels wrong. Star Wars Galaxies always has a place in my heart. I love this game now as I did as a kid, mainly because Star Wars Galaxies was a way for me and my father to game together, because he didn't play any other games. And to this day, even though he can't play anymore, it's great to relive old memories and make new ones. That's fantastic. I never ever got the opportunity to play with my parents or family, really. I tried to get my brother into it, and it didn't click with him. So the very fact that you're not only at an impressionable time in your life, but you get to share that experience, that online experience with family members, someone really close to you, that's unusual to me and fascinating to me as well, and how it must change your view of online interaction and what it means to live a life in an MMO when you're doing it with other people that you know. Well, I know it's my father, you know, I can see his avatar on screen and we're playing the game together. So does that change how you interact with other people? I think in the early days of MMOs, and perhaps now still, there is this sense in which escape from reality, and I don't have to, maybe I don't have to tell people who I really am. I don't have to behave as politely as I do in life. I don't have to worry about my reputation because I can just roll an alt. But does playing it with real people, your family perhaps, change that perception, because it's baked into you from the very beginning that I can't just say and do what I want? This is not an escape. This is my online avatar. Maybe it makes you more responsible from the beginning. I don't know. I certainly, when I first started, well, I started with my guild and knew all of those people, but I perhaps didn't realize how important your online reputation is, and made some mistakes. So yeah, it's just an interesting talking point. I think I'm going to try and keep these videos to just over 10 minutes, so I think we'll be on time here for this one. There are some other themes going on. Family is a theme that I'm interested in returning to. A number of people have said that they played with fathers, and there's some more responses of that ilk. So in the next video, I'm sure we'll have a look at those. Thank you for submitting. As I say, Star Wars Galaxies stories. I think it could become like an archive of people's experiences in the game, and if that is possible, and that's something that my channel is partly a repository for those stories, that would be fantastic. I'd love to hear more from you guys. As I say, leave them in the comments to get involved. And yeah, thank you for the awesome response. It's fantastic. Great community in Legends and great community on this channel as well. So I will see you soon. Thanks for submitting. Hope you enjoyed the stories. Bye for now.